Welcome back. Now that we have completed our 3D printing process, it is time to wrap up this journey with sanding and assembly of the 3D prop. Don't worry, it's easier than it sounds. Just be warned, you'll end up with lots of super glue on your fingers. So, here we have our 3D printed sword laid out together. All the pegs have been placed inside at least one side of the blade segments to help keep track of the pieces. Each blade piece was labeled along the printing process to help me keep track and have it ready to be assembled without confusion. With that, let's take a closer look at the assembly, sanding, and gluing process. Here you can see the hilt centerpiece and the holes on the side. And here you can see the little peg inside the blade wings. I'm trying to edge it out, and there's the hole. So the peg goes into the hole, and then you take it and you put it into the hole on the centerpiece, and it holds in place. The only missing ingredient here is the glue to help make sure it stays in for good. Even just like this though, it looks pretty cool. In this video, I'm placing down some glue to put the piece on top. Here I am securing a peg into place after I pushed it in. I already glued up the base, so here I am trying to push it in, but I couldn't get a good grip on it, so I switched it up. But then I remembered that I forgot to actually put enough glue on both sides, because I like to put glue on both sides to make sure it's extra secure. I'd rather have a little too much glue than not enough. So here I am gluing up the other side, and then lining it up. I can tell by the sides right there. See, there's kind of a line on the sides, and I just line those up. And I just press firm and hold it down for a while until it feels like it's not moving anymore. And then I'm able to put it on the ground, but until then, I gotta make sure it just stays secure while it's gluing, like the initial glue. Here I am taking the peg out of the center of the hilt, but I need a little help, so I use my needle nose pliers to just edge it out. Then I put some glue in the hole as well as around it. And then I take the peg and put it back in. And then I take the wing, which I'm getting in a second. And here I apply some glue to here too, so it stays. I already put some in the center, in the hole. And from here you simply press it into place. It's pretty easy. It slides right in. You gotta make sure that the seam line is as clean as possible. Just keep pushing it until it's pretty clean. You can rub the glue a little bit on the edges, and that's fine. You'll get some on your fingers, it's okay. And it's honestly pretty solid already, but I hold it in place for a bit just to allow it to set. Now that I've shown you how to do some gluing, let's show you how to do some sanding. Here are the sanding materials we will be using in a moment. A mask is important to use to prevent breathing in potentially harmful plastic dust particles that are the result of sanding down a 3D print. Here I'm using the deburring tool to try to thin out the model a bit so that I can get the peg closer to the bottom of the second piece. I honestly wouldn't recommend cutting that close to your finger without protection, but I didn't really have a better way on hand to protect my fingers, so this is how I did it. I also cannot recommend wearing glasses or any kind of protective eyewear enough. During this process, you can scratch off a piece of plastic and it can fly off anywhere. so you don't want to fly near your eyes. Here I am sanding one of the pieces. There isn't much to it other than just to keep at it. This piece was bumpier than the others because it was done on a different printer than usual, and for some reason I think it was not leveled correctly and it printed like that. But I decided to use it as a piece to sand down a bit, and it looked a lot better by the end of it. In the final progress pictures, you really can't even tell. For the white powder residue, you can get most of it off by just wiping it with a cloth after. Here I'm applying the last little bit of glue to the section where I'm gluing the blade to the actual base, the hilt of the sword. I had to ask my brother to help me hold it because it was just so big that I couldn't do it all by myself. Here's the final product. The glue is still setting, so I was holding it with both hands to be careful, but I'm pretty pleased with how it looked fully assembled. It is extremely big because I'm about 6 feet and it's about a quarter inch taller than me. For one final comparison, here's the finished product with the reference image of the sword in 2D on the right. There's still some work that needs to be done. Obviously, I need to still paint it and add like a piece or two, like complementary pieces. But overall, I'm very pleased with the final product. I want to thank you all for joining me on this journey. It has been a long one with many frustrating moments, but I believe each and every one of them to have been worth it. Seeing the sword fully put together was something incredible to me, and something I've never done before on this scale. For my next video in the series, I will be concluding the series with the pros and cons I found with 3D printing and my final thoughts on the project.